Hello, hello, hello. Goddess of Fire here, back for another fire conversation. Hot topic today is the week of November 14th through November 20th. This week we have the partial lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. It's also a blood moon on the 19th. This is going to be a excuse me, partial lunar eclipse that I believe can be seen by like everybody. Just wanted to grab my water really quick. And of course, I know I said I was going to do a reading on the 1111 portal, but I've been going through so much healing that I just needed to have a break because I was being sucked through that portal and just really opening up to a lot of things for me emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and I just need a break, so I did not do that, but I will for sure be doing a reading on the partial lunar eclipse in Taurus that's coming up on Friday, November 19th. All right, a couple things before we get started. I swear in all of my readings, so if that is not something that you jive with, now would be the time to exit stage left. There are plenty of other tarot readers on YouTube that do not use as colorful of language as I do. No love lost. I hope that you find the messages that you and guidance that you need and desire. Secondly, all of my readings are general. So it's one size fits most. Sometimes it's one size fits some. But think of it like a dressing room. Take what fits. Man, I cannot talk today. Take what fits and leave the rest behind. As you guys know, sometimes I will prepare like notes and stuff before I break into a reading, but I didn't do that, so I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here today, which is totally fine. But this week really feels like a wrap up. It feels like the end of a cycle. Like, and I know I say this from time to time, but it really does feel like it's the end to some really pressing things, some things that have been kind of lingering, some things that we had thought we may have already healed through or moved through. Just thinking back to the super new moon in Scorpio that we had at the beginning of the month, and it was really just kind of forcing us to see our dark side, forcing us to see our shadow selves, you know, looking at the death and rebirth. With every ending, there's a new beginning. So, I mean, that kind of fits into what we're doing here, right? But, you know, especially because it feels like, you know, with the new moon, we were coming into that dark energy. It felt like that death, right? And then we're coming up on the full moon of this month, and it's feeling like we're coming to an end of something. That transformation energy, again, like I said, the shadow self, doing some serious shadow work and really shining a light on what's been hidden deep within us, you know. I think I even said in that Scorpio new moon reading that, you know, we were on the winds of change and we were moving into the next phase, and that it was possible that some of us may have even been feeling like we were having a bit of an identity crisis, which really just translates to us having a dark night of the soul, where we're forced to go into the darkness in order for us to really see and find our light. You know, like we have to lose ourselves in order to truly find ourselves. Type energy. Okay. So as you see here, I've got a couple of oracle cards laid out before us. And like I always tell you, that's just to save time off camera doing shuffling and pulling cards so that we can really focus in on the tarot and the messages excuse me, that are wanting to come through. So let's just get this party started. So I'm just going to actually leave these unturned for now. With the Mirror Guardian, it says take time to reflect. And again, this is playing into that whole Scorpio new moon energy, just Scorpio energy in general, really. Looking inward and really understanding that everything that's in our outer world is a direct result of our inner world, right? So if we are experiencing internal turmoil, then we will most certainly have external turmoil. So this is really just forcing us to like face ourselves, you know, face fears, face insecurities, face unwanted emotions, just face healing that we may have been, you know, avoiding, whether it be conscious or subconscious. But yeah, we're really just looking deep within ourselves at this point. But like I said, it feels like we're coming to a climax to this portion, to this sort of dark night of the soul, this deep introspection, right? And then we also have Guardian Angel, you are not alone. Oh my goodness, excuse me. And that's just to say that you are heavily guided, you are heavily protected, you are heavily loved. There's a feather here, so I think if you have been seeing a lot of feathers lately, this is just another you know, type of communication from your spirit squad, letting you know, like, hey, we're thinking of you, hey, we love you, hey, we're still here. This also feels like there needs to be a reaching out to your spirit squad, because there may be a disconnection with that communication. Our angels, our guides will not step in unless it is life-threatening, unless we ask them. So they can't intervene, they can't step in, they can't take the reins, they can't take, you know, a bit of control in helping to steer us in the right direction unless they're called upon. So call on your people. Excuse me. Or maybe now is the time for you to really, you know, do some good meditation and allow yourself to surrender the ego a little bit so that you can have those open lines of communication open up for the first time, or just better than the last time. Because I know this for me, when I'm going through a dark night of the soul or a really big shift, it feels like I have zero connection. I don't feel like I can read tarot. I don't feel like I can connect to my guides, my higher self, or just you know, my intuition. So now may be a time for us this week to really strive a little bit harder to make sure that we are in connection. Yeah. So with this coffin, it really is about us laying some things to rest, finally, burying them, putting them 6 feet under, and giving them back to the universe, because some of the things that we have been trying to heal from are definitely out of our control, but holding on to it is definitely within our control. So if we're not committed to letting things go, then we're not fully committed to our healing process, right? So this may be having a literal funeral to our old selves, to our old thought processes, to our old ways of being, our old habits. But yeah, it's just like I can hear nails being put in a coffin. Like, you don't want this to come back to life. Whatever this is, however it looks for you. It could be the death of some relationships. It could be the death of a job. But really, this feels more spiritual than it does in relation to like our physical world and, you know, our work. This feels very on a soul level, that we're putting some things to rest. Maybe putting relationships that no longer serve us to rest. That's a spiritual thing. If it's coming in relation to any type of relationship. I'm so sorry. But it really is about, it just feels like a ceremonial burial. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like a really emotional send-off is what it feels like. Really like there's a grief process that's happening. So maybe this is what you need to do, is you maybe need to write like a eulogy to your past self, to your past life, to your past ways of thinking, to old habits, addictions, if you yeah, whatever it is, you know, writing a letter to a friend that really hurt you in the past. And I'm not saying you have to send it, but sometimes just getting the words out and on paper helps to get them out of you and get that energy out of you. Writing a letter to your mom or your dad, letting them know, you know, how certain things may have affected you in childhood, or a sibling, an old boyfriend. Just really putting some finality to some things, and really, like I said, laying these things to rest, letting them die, honoring the experience and really releasing it. And then we have the change card. I do also have to mention this is a 19. Put these two numbers together, the 1 and the 9, that's a 10. So that is a completion. We're completing a cycle. Like I said, it feels like a cycle's coming to an end. And then we have change. 9s are about endings. In this picture, it looks like this guy's coming out of a house with some luggage, and there's, you know, luggage and looks like a couple pieces of furniture in the back of his car. And that's a big change. Some people may be moving houses right now. That could be a really literal thing that's happening for a few people, or just making changes within the home. That could be a big thing. Maybe just like doing a little zhuzhing, doing like an accent wall or something, and it doesn't even have to be that, you know, extreme DIY type stuff. It could be simple DIY type stuff, like, you know, making candle holders or making candles at home or something like that. But it feels like there's just a change that's happening within. This feels physical for sure within your experience. This could be a change in your wardrobe. This could be a change in the way you do your hair, your makeup. And this is not to say that this is like it's not the energy that can kind of be given off like for a girl post breakup, where it's just like, I'm gonna cut my hair off, I'm gonna get bangs, I'm gonna dye it pink this time because I'll show him I'm fun. It's not like that. It's literally about embracing something that's already yours, that's already a part of you, that feels natural to make this change, because maybe you've been holding back on it before. So it could really be fucking shocking. It could be something to the effect where you have hair that's all the way down to your butt and you decide to get a cute like lob, like a long bob. And people are like, oh my God, you've had the same length of hair for 10 years. Who are you? And you're just like, I'm me. That's what that feels like. 9s are about endings, ending something to begin something else. It's good energy. And then 10, journey. It's like a 10, another completion energy. This feels like it, I don't want to say it's like the complete end all to your healing journey, but this is the end of your healing journey up until this point. So it's like we're really cleaning up shop and really dealing with the deep-seated issues. And this feels like, you know, childhood stuff, childhood wounds, childhood traumas. We're putting an end to that healing journey because we're reaching expert level in that, where we know what triggered us as children. We know why we did things as adults because of how we were trained or what we were made to believe as children, how we were raised, how we were encouraged, how we were discouraged, whatever that is, however you were molded and shaped into the you today, whatever traumas or issues that occurred up until this point will no longer be relevant in the next phase of your life. So that's where that completion energy, that finality is coming in. So I'm going to pull a couple tarot cards to see where we're at. What are we putting an end to this week? Yep, okay, that fell. An end to the cycle, an end to the transformation, because we're done turning into butterflies, because we are butterflies. So this is where the change comes in, is we've transformed ourselves from the pain of our past, right? And now we're putting that back into our lives in the form of power. So what are we taking? It's what we're taking control of. Releasing old belief systems is written right here on the card. And it looks like we're making changes to our boundaries with this 7 of Wands. And really, really enforcing boundaries, no longer being meek or coy about certain things. If we don't like it, we're going to say we don't like it. This is the point where we're standing up for ourselves. We're being that authority to our inner child, speaking up for our inner child in ways that we may have not spoken up for our inner child in the past, and honoring our inner child in ways that we may have not honored our inner child in the past. Yeah, this is just a very confident streak of energy. But this also talks about us being able to choose our battles wisely. Not always giving our energy to every little thing. I'm going to move these up because I'm going to pull some more. Not giving energy to every little thing. Being very much in control. Normally, the Queen of Swords is a harsh energy, but this feels very smart. Very poised. Like, she could strike you with this, with her intellect, with her mental, with her words. But she's being very careful about how she expresses and articulates herself. She's not going to make the same mistakes that she made before. And she's cutting out all the bullshit. She's trimming all the fat from her life. But she also has a very funny disposition. Like, she's just seeing things from a more lighthearted perspective right now. And there's just a real focus that's coming through on self. It's interesting too that this card is coming out right underneath the transformation card. And I just said that we're no longer becoming the butterflies, because we are the butterflies, and there's nothing but butterflies in this entire card. She's got a blue butterfly on her sword. She's got blue butterflies all over her throne. So there's a new level of confidence. There's no more, it just feels like there's no more fight or flight that's happening, which is interesting that I say that, because the butterfly is on the sword. There's a peaceful nature about her. Normally the Queen of Swords is very tactless. She's got a sharp tongue. And she doesn't have a lot of tact. But this energy is not expressing that whatsoever. It's interesting. I like it. And we have the Star. Having faith. Believing in your dreams. It says here on the card, positive changes that bring an end to challenging times. Again, and I put this right over the change card. There are no coincidences, folks. And the Star card is also about healing, being seen, being heard. And even says at the bottom of this card too, the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I said, it feels like we have been in a bit of a dark night of the soul, really searching, really digging deep to move forward and move past a lot of the deep-seated pain. And now we're moving into this energy where our hearts are open, and there's reciprocity with this Six of Pentacles. Things are coming in where we have felt stuck, or where we have felt like just zero luck. And we may have been trying to make some things work. We may have been trying to make some things happen, and they just simply weren't happening. It felt like we were at a stalemate, just completely stagnant, and had zero movement, right? But now all of a sudden, as we're going through this deep healing process, and, you know, realistically coming out of it on top as we get to the other side, it's like we're reaping what we sow. We're getting that reciprocity back from the universe. And this could be in physical money, because Pentacles are all about our physical world, our 3D world, our home life, our finances, our career. So we could see just a better balance as far as our coins are concerned. But this also feels like sharing your wealth of knowledge, sharing what you've learned with other people in your life. And you'll know what's necessary. Yeah. And then we have the Sun. Just literally the happiest card in the entire deck. I'm going to move these up so we can have the full shot in here. But this is all about celebration. This is coming out of the darkness into the light. It is always darkest before the dawn. But this is also seeing seeing things for what they are. This is gratitude energy, being really appreciative of who we are, what we are, and what we have. But this is also about success. And this could be success in the healing process. But this feels like this could also be like physical success. And it's all been about divine timing with this hourglass here. Sometimes things don't work out until they're supposed to work out, right? We could have, as humans, we want what we want when we want it. I think I say that to you guys all the time, but it's not about what we want when we want it. It's about what we want and when we're in alignment with it. So it feels like there is an alignment that's come through. A sense of security that's been built within us with this Ten of Pentacles. This is feeling content. Again, this is going back to that gratitude, being happy with what we have. Yeah, all across the board. There's a lot of tens coming through here. That's wild. Tens are all about completion. Coming to an end of a financial hardship too. This feels like things being in order financially, in our career, in any type of business endeavor. Now is a good time to get something started. And then we have the Ten of Cups. This feels like, yes, this is about happiness and emotional contentment, but this also feels like emotional evolution within these 10 cups. It's like we had to deal with each of these emotional wounds where we had put a lot of emotional energy. Yeah, that had us disappointed, feeling like we didn't have enough or were missing out on something. And the only thing that we were missing out on is happiness, because we were so focused on the pain of the past that we were unable to see that there was a blessing right behind us. We were unable to see the ability for self-love with that single cup behind us. Wow. Really powerful stuff, guys. This is a good week. Let me see. I want to pull a couple of last minute oracle cards for some advice for the week. And we're going to be using the messages from your angels oracle card deck for some advice. You know, it says since we have a spirit guide with us, let's see what angels we're working with. I think I might actually pull from a different deck too. What angels have some advice for us? Blood crystal. And she says, have faith and hope, because there is something positive and new on the horizon that you can't yet see. All about newness. And then we have Bethany. Crystal's leading us into a new beginning. And then we have Bethany. When you take excellent care of yourself, everybody benefits. Give yourself a relaxing treat today, such as a massage, sea salt bath, or pedicure. Bethany's here to encourage us to offer ourselves some self-care and some self-love. Right now. because we do. We feel our best when we feel our best, when we feel taken care of, when we put energy into ourselves that we wouldn't otherwise, unless, or maybe it's just putting energy into ourselves that we would want to put into other people, right? Picking and choosing where to put our energy, like I said before. I'm going to grab a couple other oracle cards from a different deck, the Keepers of the Light. Wow, okay. The Miriam, the sacred vision. Choose to forgive in order to heal. See the light in all. Remember that love has no boundaries. And it's interesting because I put that right over the Sun card. This is all about seeing the good in things, right? And then Freya. Phases and cycles. Again, I said at the beginning, it feels like we're putting an end to a cycle. And here she is. There is a begin. Did I not just say that? There is a beginning with every ending. I literally said that. Rewind the tape back. Yeah, there is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. If that is not the most perfect way to end this reading, I don't know what is. But yeah, the illusions that we've held within ourselves, the pain of the past, we're releasing that. We're ending this phase of our life. We're ending this cycle and moving forward. Wow. Well, I hope this is a great week for you guys. I hope this was helpful to you as well. Give you a little bit of insight as to what energy is being brought to us this week and how we can use it to our advantage. It's always better to be prepared and know what's coming in order to navigate it the easiest. All right, until next time, folks. Deuces.